infinitives today. We know infinitives are verbals. That means they're verb-like. We take verbs and we change them into something that can perform a job other than the type of job a verb does. And we do this usually by adding to and using the simple base form of the verb. For the most part, infinitives are easy enough to spot. Let's go to the board and see if we can pick a few out of these sentences. All right. To wait seemed foolish when action was needed. Here's your giveaway right here. It's to and wait. To wait. Number 2, everyone wanted to go. To go. The only thing you have to be careful of is confusing to. Sometimes it will appear in a prepositional phrase. To the store, to the beach. But then you will know it can't be an infinitive because a noun will follow rather than a verb. Okay, let's continue. His dream is to fly. Correct. He felt his strength to resist. There it is again. We must study to learn. All right. That part is easy enough. But what I want to show you is that an infinitive can do the job of a subject, an adjective sometimes. Sometimes it can perform the job of an adverb. It can be a direct object, and it can even be a subject complement, like a predicate nominative. Big words, as usual, it's better just to show you than tell you, and that's what I'm going to do here. All right, let's look at number 1. To wait seemed foolish when action was needed. All right, what's the verb of this sentence? Seemed. Something seemed foolish. What seemed foolish? To wait. There's an example of an infinitive operating as a subject. That infinitive is the subject of that sentence. All right. Number 2. Everyone wanted to go. Everyone is the subject. Everyone wanted is the verb. What did they want? Everyone wanted to go. That is the direct object of that sentence. It's the object of the verb wanted. That's what they wanted. It completes the meaning of that verb. All right. Number 3. His dream is to fly. Let's take a look at that one. Let me diagram this one out because to my mind this one's a little more complicated. His dream is to fly. The verb here is a linking verb, is. What is? Well, dreaming is, and it's his dream. So his is modifying dream. Now, is can be thought of really as an equal sign because it's linking dream with some other idea here. And when it does that, we're going to put a slanted line because we know that whatever's coming here is really going to be renaming or describing the dream. And sure enough, his dream is to fly. And to fly is the dream is to fly. They're convertible terms. Now, when the infinitive is doing this job, it is a subjective complement. In this case, it's called a predicate nominative. It's renaming the subject over on the other side of the verb. Tricky business, a lot of big words for this, but don't blame me, folks. I just teach it. I don't invent this stuff. Okay, let's move on. He felt his strength to resist. What do you think that could be doing here? We're talking about his strength, and what strength? His strength to resist. Sure enough, we have an infinitive that's acting as an adjective to help to talk more about the strength. And then finally, we must study to learn. Here we have a nice action word, a nice verb here. And to learn is acting as an adverb to tell us why we're performing the action of the verb. So, in every case here, you have a different function that the infinitive is performing. Now, there are a couple other things that I would like to address at this point. Okay, here's a question for you. And Nashville audiences, Mom, Dad, you may not participate because native speakers instinctively know what sounds right. But ESL students, it can be problematic. So for the Serve Live crowd, here's a question for you. Last night, he decided to talk to her. Do you see a problem with this? Let me explain. This is a sentence that calls for past tense. So our verbs must be in past tense. Last night is a time indicator, so we know we're going to go to the past. He decided, past tense, to talk to her. Now, if you didn't know better, you would think you're doing the right thing, because decided and talked should be past tense. Wrong. Incorrect. Because remember, this is not really a verb, this is a verbal. Okay? And here's the rule. The infinitive form of a verb, when it's a verbal, always remains simple present, no matter what. You ignore the time indicators. This doesn't have to agree with anything. Okay? This is not a verb. This is a verbal. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, there are some verbs, not many, by my count, maybe 8, 7 verbs in the English language, that allow people to, believe it or not, drop the to part of the infinitive. You know English has a lot of peculiar rules to it. This is one of those situations. They watched the ship sail. It seems like we have two verbs in this sentence. Watched and sail. However, watched is one of those verbs that allows us, really mandates us, to drop the to in front of the infinitive. They watched the ship to sail. Now, if we spoke like that, at least to a native speaker, it sounds all wrong. But sure enough, this is an infinitive minus the to. And when that happens, it's called a bare infinitive. Not like grizzly bear, but B-A-R-E. That means stripped, like bare naked. Okay? A bare infinitive. And we have to look out for those. Alright, but here, sail is acting as an adjective to say it's the sailing ship. Alright, I heard the doorbell ring. We've dropped the infinitive to again, the to part. I heard the doorbell to ring would sound awkward, but I heard the doorbell ring. I heard the ringing doorbell. If you wanted to turn it into the participial form and use it as an adjective that way, it can also be done. Margot made the vase to fall. Margot made the vase fall. There's another bare infinitive. We have to really be on the lookout for those, or they can ruin your day if you're trying to find the verb of a sentence and work from there. Alright, that's enough for today, but for those of you who want to take it all the way, I respect that, and I'm going to oblige you. Let me put on my glasses because I'm going to need to appear as smart as possible to gray, weird areas here. And I'm just going to leave you with that, and I'll see you in class.